city actually prepared that, sent out that survey. We can provide that information. We were hoping to have anywhere from a 7 to 10% return, but as you know, surveys aren't always the most popular thing. That was the second turnaround that we did on the survey, because we did do an initial survey at the second community workshop. However, we felt that because of the number of representatives in the skateboarding field, that the survey could be skewed, and we didn't want to ignore some of the other important facets in the recreational program, and so therefore we felt that a community survey would be best, again, in hopes of getting a 7 to 10% return. However, that was not the case. We got a 3.6% return, and yes, we can, if the council would like us to provide further information as to how many of those were returned in Spanish, we can. They were, if you saw the survey yourself, you would have seen that it was noted in English and then it was translated in Spanish right below it. So
I would want to know from my own comfort level if from somebody that knows statistics better than I do, whether that we have a representative sample of the population or the community. And I don't know, you may not have the answer to those.
No.
If you can find out, that would be great for me.
Just to kind of add on that, because the survey was optional, again, now that I think about it, we cannot indicate whether it was a Spanish-speaking person or not, because there was no box checking, identifying are you Spanish-speaking only or not.
No,
so no, we could
responsible
not.
in Spanish.
Well, no, it was a check mark.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. All right. One of the suggestions on your presentation, when you talk about small parks, and I know you did not recommend this, but you talked about infield. Can you tell me what that is?
That's looking at a particular neighborhood that doesn't have a park within a half a mile, and providing, either finding a vacant lot or finding a house for sale, and then finding some land, and infilling a park within an existing neighborhood. It's not always possible, but it's done. That's what I mean by infill, so that each community has an opportunity to walk to a park. A lot of this can be, again, addressed with schools. If you can walk to a school and play on their play structure, that's a pretty good opportunity. And that's one that exists, but the gates are locked usually.
I happened to be on the elementary board when Centro School was built, and I do know for a fact that the overall, the long-term plan for the location where the fields are was intended to be a school site. So I think that we need to ask the trustees or the board on the elementary school district if those plans still remain, or if not, I would patiently inject a lot of resources into an area that may go away. The last I heard is that they had abandoned the idea of making that into a school site, but I think that needs to be asked again, or some sort of formal mechanism. I think part of the overall master plan needs to talk also about strengthening those school-city partnerships in a more formal way. That's going to alleviate a lot of the deficiencies that we have, and I suggest that we begin to converse with them, and again in a more meaningful way than we have in the past. I do concur. It was mentioned a couple of times that, from my perspective, a very high priority would be to take care of the existing facilities and make them adequate, particularly Buckley Park. I think Buckley Park has been neglected for a while, and we need to re-energize that facility. I don't golf, Orlando, but I do agree with your comment, and that I think golf facilities are needed in the community. I think they can be self-sustaining, given the right mechanism, and I think we need to address that as well. Skateboarding, obviously, is something that the community feels needs to be addressed. I would concur with that. I do think that in some ways I can also be self-sufficient. I like the idea of a nonprofit developing the park. I think it's a wonderful idea that needs to be explored. I'm not real excited with the possibility of a large regional park. I concur with Jason and somebody else that said this, that I think smaller parks that serve the neighborhoods, if they're adequately designed, it's going to satisfy the needs of the community much more.
Excuse me, adequately
Designed.
Thank you.
Yeah. That's it.
Thank you.
Mr. Solomon, please.
First of all, let me congratulate you on a job well done. Like all California communities, the city of El Centro continues to evolve and change. The Park and Recreation Department is embarked on the master plan to ensure that it continually strengthens the community's image and provide excellent service to all El Centro residents now and into the future. Before we started this process, I list 6 things that I want questions to. First one was, what park and recreation needs that are not being met? You answered that very appropriately. Second one was, what park and recreation needs that are important to families that would make them come out of the house as a family and go to one of our parks? And I thought about cookouts, I thought about trees, I thought about shelters, I thought about adding and upgrading restrooms and improving playgrounds and improving athletic fields and courts. You answered that appropriately. And then I thought about, because of the heat, perhaps we needed more indoor type programs. You answered that, and I want to thank you. I also thought about what are some parks and recreation trends that I might not know about. I just listed things that came to my mind. They were extreme sports, skate parks, team parks, fitness, indoor recreation, dog parks, and educational things. And you talked about all of those. And once again, I thank you. I thought about establishing dedicated funds, sources. How would we be able to pay for these things? You talked about partnering programs with other organizations and government agencies, impact fees, income from permits on new buildings. That would be a small amount, but we can talk about those kind of things. And then the last one for me was funding of operations. What would be the annual operating costs, capital improvement at existing parks, and the athletic complex, those types of things. And you gave us all the prices for those. We are looking for direction tonight. That's basically what we're doing and what we ask the community to come here and give us a little bit of input for. And I thank you for your guidance in that, and I thank the community for coming out and giving us that input. But I thought you did a very nice job based upon what we were here for tonight. And that was to listen to what you were talking about and then give you the direction as to which way we would like you to go. You did an excellent job. Thank you.
Very much.
Okay, Mrs. Sanders.
Mr. Mayor, I want to thank you. And I certainly want to thank the consultants for their efforts and their hard work, and certainly the staff that put in the effort and work, and all of the young people who came out to champion their issue that is so important to them, and that's the skate park. There's no question that this community is evolving. We're going through an evolutionary process. However, I don't think we've evolved to the extent that we want to displace the baseball, the football, the soccer field. I also think we do not necessarily wish to put a skate park in the form of a pocket park in downtown. That was being mentioned. I like the idea of looking at reclaiming water to green up our community. I know that may be a little bit of a controversy, but I still think that's an idea that time has come and we should explore it. What we're here tonight to do is try to figure out ways to expand recreational opportunities.